Good evening, friends. I have the author of today's book released by Rupa Publications, and he's Tuhin Sinha. So he's co-authored with Suraj Prasad, and the further names goes Clark. So we'll ask Clark about that later. So, but Tuhin, sir, you had eminent guests today. You had Professor Gaur Sahab, you had Panda ji, you had Deepak ji, and you had Samir ji. So when you started this book, so what made you write this?
See, like I mentioned, our subaltern history, and especially the contribution of our tribal warriors, had been ignored for too long in our national narrative. It was important to invoke the contribution of these warriors in our collective conscience, and mainstream their contribution because all of these tribal warriors, let us be clear about the fact that our freedom movement did not begin with the formation of the Congress Party. It predates the formation of the Congress Party by a good 105 years. The first major revolt was that of Tilka Maji in the area of present-day Bhagalpur in 1784. That was followed by a series of simultaneous revolts across the country, right from northeast, where you had Yu Tirot Singh in Meghalaya, to across the country in
As 1812,
in Kerala, in 1820, starting 1820, there were many revolts in Jharkhand. So, it was about time these heroes whose contribution has been very pivotal were brought to the fore. 1855 revolt is particularly very important because in many ways it was the precursor to 1857, but being a subaltern revolt, the tragedy is that people woke up to the impact of tribal revolts many years after the protagonists were dead. One, because the primary sources of information was very limited about them while they were alive. And secondly, history has always been written from the point of view of kings. Yes. So we wanted to change that narrative. Yeah, that is the reason why these books were very important. And I think, the present, in the present establishment, I would like to thank Honorable Prime Minister Modi ji because the number of times he has invoked the contribution of these tribal warriors has been exceptional. Like I mentioned, I grew up in Jamshedpur where we would hear about Birsa Munda, but whenever one would want to research on him, there was very little information. Now there is so much information available on public domain. It's also because of the number of times Honorable Prime Minister has invoked his contribution to the country, and his contribution, if you read the books, has actually been phenomenal and exceptional.
Sure. I, in fact, wanted you to talk about the Prime Minister and also our Tribal Affairs Minister, Arjun Munda ji, has also been doing it. So, like last year, we had celebrated, with
a lot of things have happened. Yes. A lot of things have happened. Plus, all of the social welfare schemes of the government, whether it is Swachh Bharat, whether it is Jan Dhan Yojana, if you actually look at the data, the maximum beneficiaries belong to the tribal population. So this empowerment anyway has reduced the gap, the social gap, the societal gaps, some sense of alienation which the community had felt before 2014. And work has happened on multiple levels. One, the cultural rejuvenation of the Adivasi Samaj. And number two is I mentioned a series of financial measures which have reduced the gap between haves and have-nots in the country.
Yeah, that was one reason. So what's in the pipeline in the future, if you want to share?
Well, with Siddhu Kano, we have completed a trilogy. Our trilogy, which began with The Legend of Birsa Munda. The second book was The Great Tribal Warriors of Bharat. Siddhu Kano completes the trilogy. So for now, we would work on similar subjects, but for now we're taking a break. We're doing a book on the Northeast, which I will talk about, in some time to come.
To you later, and I think you have some guests. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.